Probably this is one of the most romantic families that we are going to model in Revit. The name Juliet balcony originates from the famous story of Romeo and Juliet, where it played a significant role on starting their love story. This balcony has no deck, so it's not walkable, and it doesn't have that much space, sometimes no space at all. But this balcony was designed for increasing the natural light, for improving the airflow inside a home, and for enhancing the view, especially on rainy days. I received an email from one of you requesting for this family, and since it is a unique and a bit challenging one, we're going to model two different types of it. So without further ado, let's start. For the first family, I'm going to use generic model. So go to File and create a new family on generic models. As always, we need reference planes. So I'm going to create two reference planes for its lengths, one in here and the other one in this part. And this is going to be for its depths. So I'm going to put these two in the center with these dimensions, make them equal, and then create another dimension, and this is for the parametric. I'm going to create another one in this part, and then we can select it, turn it into a parametric, and let's just call it depth. And for this one we can do it again, and let's call this one length. I need two more reference planes in these two parts, and these are going to be fixed dimensions. So create one in this part and another one in here. Select it, and with this icon in here you can assign any number that you want. I'm going to go with 10 centimeter. Then just simply create a dimension for here like this and lock it. Repeat it for the other side. Select it, change the number, and then create a dimension like this, and then just simply lock it. Now we can go to the front view, and in this part again we need to create two more reference planes, one in this part, another one in here. Create a dimension between them like this, and then select it and turn it into another parameter, which is going to be the height. Now I'm going to select this one and change its name to base. Select the other one and change its name to top. Now let's go back to the front view. In this part we are going to use this sweep, and as we know, for each sweep we need to have a path, and also we need to have a profile. So before going there and creating the line and adding the profile, we can create the profile first and then create the sweep all together. So for that we are going to go to File and create a new family on the profile. We need two types of profiles, and the first one is just a very simple rectangle which we need to be able to control it, and the other one is exactly the same rectangle, but we need to have a place for it to hold the glass inside it. So let's create the first one. For the first one we need to first create some reference planes in this one and in here, then create some dimensions like this, one for here, the other one for this part. Select it, go to create parameter and give it a name. Let's go with L again. Okay, this one is going to be the width, so I'm going to select it and assign a parameter for it with W. And now I'm going to go to create and use this line with this rectangle, and then I'm going to create or draw it on these lines, and then we need to lock all of them together. Go to File, save this family, and then load it into the first family that we were working on. And now for the second one, I'm going to just simply delete this one. And since we want to have a place, a gap exactly in the center of this part, and we need to have reference planes from this side and also this side, I'm going to share two different ways that you can use. Which one you want, it doesn't matter. The second one is going to be more controllable, but the first one also works and there is no problem with that. So for the first one, I'm going to just create 3 reference planes in this part, and then I'm going to keep these distances between this part with just a dimension from this point to here to this part, and then to here. Let's make it a little bit smaller, then you just need to select this dimension and make them equal. Now it doesn't matter how many times you change this width, the gap, the distance between these parts will always be the same. But for the other parts, since we want to be able to control the thickness of the glass, we need to use another method. For that part, I'm going to create the reference plane in the center, and then I'm going to put it exactly in the center of these two parts, and this means that I need to make these two parts equal. After that, I'm going to create two more reference planes on both sides of this reference plane, and then I'm going to lock them to the center line, to this one. So we are going to just do it with dimensions from this point to here to this part. Click on here so they are equal, and then create another one like this, select it again and turn it into a parametric. This is going to be the thickness of the glass, so give it any name that you want. I'm going to just call it thickness. Okay. Now we can go to create and select this line, continue drawing the rest of these lines from this point exactly to here, to this part, to this point, here, and back to this part. Then you need to lock and align all of these lines and also these points, for example, this point in here, with these reference planes. Save this family with another name and then we can load it into the project. Now that we have our profiles, we can start creating the sweep. But first, we need to set the work plane on the base or top level. Let's go with base. Okay, then we are going to click on the sweep and then create the sketch path. Click on this part and then draw your path. The first family that we're going to create is going to be from this point to here, and I'm going to create the path exactly like this. Again, we need to lock all of these lines and also these points with all of these reference planes. Hit finish, and for selecting the profile that we just created, I'm going to just simply click on this part, and from here I can select the profile I need, and I'm going to go with the first profile that we just created. To see where it is exactly, we can go to the front view, and it is in this part. It doesn't matter the size of it, we are going to change it in a few seconds. So for now, we can simply apply. Go to ref level, and we need to create this exactly like we did for the other side too. You can either create it from the beginning or just simply mirror it for the other side and then align these lines with the reference planes. I want to create it again, so we can go to create, sweep, sketch path, with this line exactly from this point to this part and then to here. Then we need to align all of them with these reference planes exactly like this. It's important to lock and align all of them like this. Hit finish and select the profile A. Let's go to front view. It's important to check it. Our profile, the first one was in this part and this is on the other side. So you can either flip it or you can use any angle that you want. So they should exactly look the same. Hit finish, and now if we go to 3D view, we have something like this. Go back to ref level. Again, we need to create another sweep, this time exactly in the center. From this point to here, align them with this line exactly like this point with this reference line, and this point with here. Make sure to lock them. Hit finish, and let's this time select this profile B. We need to go to front view to see where it is exactly. We can see it in this part, so we need to go to the left view, and it is exactly in this point. We can hit finish since it is under this line, this center line, and we can go to this 3D view. Perfect. This is what we have until now. I'm going to put it on consistent color. To control the size of these profiles, since if we select them, we have no edit type to have access to those parameters, we need to find them in the project browser. So go to families and in this part to the profile section to profile A. Click on this part, right click and go to type properties. In this part you can see the length and the width. So I'm going to click on this part to bring all of these families into the main family that we have. Create a new parameter and then give it a name, profile length. Repeat it for the width too, and okay. Now that we have those two parameters in here and we want the length and width of this profile to be exactly the same with this one, we can select the second profile, the profile B, and then if we go to this project browser, click on this part, go to type properties, we can click on this part and we already have this profile L. So I'm going to select this one for the first profile and this one for the width of this profile. Okay, for its thickness, since it is the thickness of the glass, I'm going to create a new parameter. So let's just call it glass thickness. Okay, and okay. Now you saw that they are matched and they are exactly the same. Now we can go to family type and we can change these parts. For the thickness of the glass, let's go with 1 centimeter. Apply, perfect. For its length, we can go with probably 4 centimeter. Apply, okay. For its width, we can go with 2, 3, or even 4 centimeter if you want. I want to go with 3 centimeter for now. I just want to increase this length to 5. Apply and okay. Now we need to repeat exactly these. We need to create each one of these parts, each one of these sweeps for the top part too. So for that we can go to ref level, and in this part we need to first change the work plane and we need to put it on the top reference plane. Okay, first you need to do this and then you need to create all of them on this part. So let's go to create, click on sweep. With this sketch path, I am going to create a line from this point to here and to this part. Align this line with here, lock it, this part with this point, lock it, this point with here, and also this last line with this part. Now we can hit finish and then we can select this profile A and let's just go to front view and check where it is. Since we create these parts under this line, I want these to be above this reference plane, so I can just select it and I can simply flip or use this angle to rotate it to the upper part. I'm going to flip it again so it is inside and above this line. Okay, it's very important to like match these parts. Hit finish and then we need to go to ref level. If you mirror these parts, you won't have this problem, but you need to make sure that they are aligned. For this side, create sweep sketch path from this part to here and then to this point. Use align and lock all of them. For this part too, we can select profile A and then let's check it from the front view. It is under this part, so I'm going to rotate it to here and there is no need to flip it because it is inside here. Hit finish and then we can go to ref level again. The last part is this one and I'm going to go to create sweep sketch path from this line to here, align them, this part with here, align this line, align the path, and also these 2 points. These are for controlling the glass, so you need to of course lock them. For the profile, I'm going to select the profile B and now we need to go to left view. In this part it is in here, so I think I just need to rotate it and then flip it to this part so it is exactly aligned with the other sweeps too. Hit finish and now if we go to 3D view, we have all of them exactly like this next to each other and matched together. If you don't want to see these lines in these parts, you can just simply join them all together. For modeling the glass in this part, we can either go to left view or to the front view. I want to go to the front view and we're going to use extrusion for this part. Exactly with this rectangle, from this point to here, I'm going to draw a rectangle, and then I need to lock all of these parts with these reference planes exactly like this. Hit finish and go to left view. Also, we need to align these two parts of this rectangle with this point, with this part of the glass, and also with this part of this profile that we just created. Now, if we go to the 3D view, we will have a Juliet balcony like this, which we can control all and each part of it. Before loading it into the project and seeing how it works, I'm going to select this glass, and with this part, I'm going to create a parameter for its material. Let's just call it glass. Okay, and okay. For the other parts, I'm going to select them like this. And again, in this part, I'm going to create one parameter for all of these parts because their material is the same. And I'm going to just call it profile. Load it into the project, this one, okay, and I am going to put it in this part. It's better to go to one of the elevations, for example this one. I'm going to hide these levels, and now we can perfectly set it in here. So I'm going to select it, and the size of this window is on 1.5 and 2.2. We don't need the height, but it's good to know it. I'm going to select my family, and from this edit type, for its height, I want it to be 95 centimeter. For its length, I want it to be 2.2, and for its depth, 30 centimeter is too much. We can go with like 15 centimeter, 20 centimeter. Let's go with 15 centimeter. We have set all of these before, and we have access to like set them exactly in this part too. So it's very easy to control all of these parts. I'm not going to change these because they are okay for now, and we can hit okay. And then you just need to move it around and set it exactly where you want. For its material, you can select it, go to edit type, and from this part, let's assign a glass material for it. Search for glass. This one is okay. I want to just change its color to something like this. Make it a little bit more transparent. Okay. For the profile, let's go with something like aluminum. For example, this one. Let's make it a little bit darker. Okay, and okay. And this is our fully parametric glass Juliet balcony. Of course, you can add any detail you want. You can change any part that you like. Before we go to the second part, I have to ask a question. Did you know that Juliet was only 13 years old and Romeo was like 16? Did you know that? I didn't. Let me know in the comment section. For the second family, we are going to use a wall-based generic model. So go to File and create a new family on generic model wall-based. First part is exactly the same. We need to have the same reference planes for the lengths and also for the depths. I'm going to create the depths on the placement side in this part and two reference planes in these parts. Make them in the center like this. Create another one for their parameter and the other one for its depths. Make sure that you are connecting the two reference planes exactly like this. Be sure that they are exactly reference plane. This one is going to be the depth and this one is going to be the length. Let's go to placement side and we need two more reference planes for the height. I'm going to create a dimension like this, select it and turn it into a parameter. Let's call it height. This one is going to be the base and this part is going to be the top reference plane. Now we can go back to ref level and in this part I'm going to create a sweep from this point to this point and I'm going to use only one profile for all of these parts. We don't need to like change this one. I'm going to use a railing for these family. So draw the lines exactly from these points to here and then we are going to align and lock them with all of these reference plane and all of these points. Hit finish, and since we didn't load the profiles to here, we can click on this part and then we can simply load the profile A, the rectangle, to here. Now from here you can select profile A. Before you hit finish, let's go to placement side and check where it is. It is under and outside this part. It's okay as long as you repeat it for the top part too. I'm going to hit finish and let's go back to ref level. First I need to change my work plane. I'm going to put it on top, and then we need to create another sweep exactly on these parts the same way. We need to create it and then align and lock all of these points with these reference planes and these lines. Hit finish and let's go to placement side. Select this A profile. It is exactly in here. I'm going to flip it so it is above this line. Either flip is not working. I'm going to rotate it like this, flip it again so it is outside, and then you can hit finish. If we go to 3D view, we can see it like this. Now we have the top railing and base railing of the new balcony. As I said, I'm going to use railing for this part, and the railing could be a very simple rectangle generic model, or it could be a baluster, or it could be a very detailed generic model. It doesn't matter what you are going to use. You need to know that you can create any railing that you want and you can import it to here and use it as railing. I'm going to show you the base and simplest way that you can add railings to here, and then you can be creative and add anything with any detail that you want. So for now, I'm going to go to file and create a new generic model. I want my railing or the baluster to be exactly in the center, and I want to be able to control all of its dimensions. So I'm going to use reference plane and I will create it exactly in the center. 2 reference plane for each side. Let's put them exactly in the center, make it equal, create another one like this. You can either use only one parameter for both of these dimensions or create them separately. I want to select this one, and this part is going to be the width. This part is going to be the length. Now with create and this extrusion, I'm going to create a rectangle on all of these lines and then lock all of them simply like this. Hit finish and go to front view. I'm going to create 2 reference planes, one in here, the other one in this part, and then I'm going to align this rectangle to these 2 parts, lock it, and then I'm going to create a dimension in here for controlling its height. We can select it and assign a parameter for its material. It's very important to have it. Okay, and now we can load it into the family. This is the placement side, so I'm going to put it in this part. Our next step is to match the parameters of this family to the overall parameters that we have in here. So I'm going to select it, and in the edit profile, I need to set the height exactly to the parameter of this part. So as you can see, it starts from this part to here, and it is exactly where we want our railing to start and finish. So I'm going to click on this part, and instead of creating a new parameter for controlling the height of the railing, I'm going to simply click on this. Okay, and for the length, I can either create a new parameter for the height and for the length of the railing, or I can use the parameters that we have for these parts. So let's just create another one because you might like to control it separately. Okay, and this part is going to be railing width. Okay, now if I align this part to the base of this railing and I can lock it, the top part is going to be always in this part. If you change this height, this part is going to be always connected to this line. And then for the other side, for this part, we can align this part with here and then lock it. You need to check it from the other side too, so we need to go to left view and then align it with this line and then lock it. Now if we go back to placement side or to the 3D view, we have it exactly in this part. The reason that it is outside this part is because we haven't changed the size of it yet, so it is going to be inside of it. But if you want to change it, you can just simply go to family type, and in this part I want it to be a square, so for now I'm going to put it on 2 by 2. Apply and OK. Now to copy this railing to all of these parts, we need to go to placement side, and in here we are going to use array. So I'm going to select it, and then with this part I need to make sure that it is on the last, and then I'm going to click on this part to here. I am going to put it in here for now, and then I am going to align it from this point to here, lock it, and then align this line from this line and then lock it. Make sure that the parts that you're going to align these elements to the reference plane are the same. Let's go to the left view and check it from this part too. I'm going to click on align this part, lock it. Let's go to 3D view, and now if you select this one, this element, you can see the number of this railing. You can change it and you can put it on any number you want, like this. Or you can make it even more parametric. You can write a formula for it, so if you change the length, the number of these railing also change accordingly. For that, you need to select the railing and then click on this part. From this label, you need to open it, and you can turn this number, you can turn this value into a parameter. I'm going to just call it railing. Okay, and now we can go to family type. This railing, we want this railing to work according to the lengths, right? So we need to connect these two together. For example, let's say we have a 1 meter length in here, and we want the distance of the railing to be like 10 centimeter. In front of railing, you need to write length divided into 10 centimeter. Okay, so if we have like this number for our length, how many railing you think we will have in this part? Okay, if this number is too much, you can change it and you can put it on 20 centimeter, and this works accordingly. If you change the number in this part, you can turn it into 2 meter, and with this 20 centimeter gap between them, how many railing you think you will have in here? 10. Now with just a very simple formula like this, these two parameters are working perfectly together. The last step is to assign parameter for its material. Select this one and this one. From here, I'm going to create a new one. Let's call it material. Okay, and for these parts, I need to just select one of them, go to edit group, select it again, and then from this edit type, we are going to turn this parameter that we created on the family into the one that we are going to have in the next family, in the main family. You just need to hit finish, and now all of these parts have the same family. Save it and then load it into the project. Since it was a wall based, if you hover your mouse outside any wall, you can't see it, but the second you move your mouse inside a wall, you can see it in here. It's not even working on the window itself. You just need to set it on a wall, for example in here, and then you can go to one of the views. Let's go to this view, and in here you can set it exactly where you want. I think the distance between these railing is too much, so if you want to change it, you can go back and change the formula. And then for the other parts, I need to select it, go to edit family, and for the material, let's go with a black material, something like this, for example. Okay, for the depth, I want it to be like 10 centimeter. For height, let's go with 95. For its length, I think the length is good, and these two are also good. If you want to be able to control the size of these parts, the top and base part, you need to bring the parameters that we created for the profile too, exactly like we did for this one. And this was our second family. If you want to download these families, you can check the link in description. Thank you for watching until now, and I will see you next time.